So I'm just sitting here editing my latest video for my final assignment for school when my phone suddenly lit up. The Notre Dame in Paris burnt down. Now, at the time of me recording this, it hasn't been announced what they think the reasons are for anything like that. I personally am really hoping it wasn't arson, because that would be an absolutely horrible thing to have happen to such a building. But I just want to take a second in the beginning of this video to say that this actually really sucks. I know that may seem like a very bland statement, but I know a lot of people have been questioning why people are getting so up in arms about the Notre Dame burning down. But I just want to say, as somebody who really studied history and art and religion over these past few years and all throughout high school, the Notre Dame played a very big role in a lot of different sectors. This is actually the photo that I just opened up my phone to. That's the Notre Dame in Paris burning down. I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, it's just a building, it's not a huge deal. And to that I would completely disagree. But on top of everything else I already listed, you need to realize that I also love doing architect photography. I have a long list of cities that I've always wanted to visit in life, and I have it broken up into a few different categories. Places that are very reasonable I can do this year, places that I would love to go, and then there's the places that I've absolutely dreamed about going, and Paris has always been up there, and one of the reasons has been because of the Notre Dame. This is a building that construction finished on it back in 1345, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure construction began on it almost 200 years prior to that. This is a building that almost stood for a millennia, and the fact that it just burned down like this really sucks. Anyways, I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's kind of a close thing to me because I've always loved that building, even though I've never had the chance to go and see it myself. My thoughts are with everybody that are heavily affected by this. But now let's switch over into the other side of this video. I don't know about all of you, but for me, it's final seasons here at college. For the past few weeks, I've been working away at a couple assignments that are worth a bigger part of my grade. And due to these assignments being worth so much more, I've really taken a step back from YouTube and I haven't been focusing on these videos as much. But I've really put a lot of work and effort into this one video that I did with my brother, who's actually a music producer. In this interview, we discussed the current situation with the music scene in the city that he currently resides in, and what's kind of been my hometown for the past 8 years. And I decided to share it here with you guys as my YouTube video for this week, because I found the message that he had behind it really hits home for a lot of different art sectors. Whether you're a musician, a painter, a poet, or a photographer like some of us here, this interview with my brother really hits all the arts more so than just musicians. So, without further ado, please enjoy the interview.
My name is Justin Strode. I'm a music producer and recording engineer here at Oxygen Studios. I started making music a long time ago, around 2008. Decided at some point, I kind of want to record this stuff, but I don't know where to go to record. There's not a lot of places to record in this area that are of reasonable value. I found one studio, I went there, it was about $50 an hour, and it was in some guy's basement with an electronic drum kit set up in the corner and a couple of couches and a couple of rack stuff and a computer, and it was all right. But I always wanted more. And I always wanted to be on the other side of the mixing board. I always wanted to get behind that technology. So I thought, why not just learn to record it myself? So I did. I went to Recording Arts Canada for a year, plowed through their program, graduated in 2012, and moved back here promptly. Peterborough's always been well known as a music city. It always likes to advertise itself as a music city. We have the Little Lake Music Festival that brings in thousands of people a year to see top names performing in just this tiny little town. But there's not a lot of support for local artists doing their things. There's always been tight niche markets, cliques of people that all work together on their own thing, but they're all separated by this idea of genre and various other factors. There are always venues in this town that were notorious across Ontario and sometimes throughout North America. Venues like the Red Dog, the Spill, they always had a reputation for hosting unique acts and always creating a sort of welcoming vibe that everybody appreciated, that everybody loved, that they would go down to these places and no matter who was playing, what kind of genre was going on, you're going to enjoy yourself. There's always been a lot of support from the fans of the music. Every time that there was a show, there was always people there, but there was not a lot of support from the city itself, as much as it likes to advertise itself as a music city, it doesn't do a lot for local artists. Is the music industry dying? I don't think it's really dying. I think it's morphing into something that we can't really comprehend. There's a lot going on in terms of streaming and monetization of music, and how a lot of bands aren't getting paid what they deserve for the music that they create. And a lot of it is to do with this preconceived notion that this music, this chains of the air around us as molecules vibrate, that this should be just a part of life, just something that happens, just something that's free. And the thing is, it's not. It takes time, effort, creativity, lost hours. So many things can be lost in the creation of art. And it's tough to do it without seeing anything in the end, any kind of reason as to why you've done it. So with streaming taking over the music industry, it's a little tough to feel like there's purpose in creating, in producing, into contributing to something that already is so oversaturated with everything you aspire to be. It's a little tough to force yourself to create, knowing that there's a big possibility that you're not going to get anything for it. But we still do it. Because with the advent of streaming, there's this possibility of a real world connection to the entirety of the world. You'll find fans that you never thought you would ever have in different corners of the planet. Fans in Japan, fans in, China, fans in like South Africa, people in Brazil. You'll connect with all these wonderful people just because they have the opportunity to hear your music, even though you'll never see these people in your life, but you can still connect to them. And it's this kind of connection that needs to happen on more of a local scale nowadays. Everybody's so overcome with the advent of technology, being connected to the entire world, that they forget about where they are and that there is stuff happening right here. And so it's important to go to these new venues and see these new bands playing their new music to a new crowd of music lovers. It's always been tough being an artist of some sorts, a painter, a musician, an actor, a poet. There's always a sense of public scrutiny and always this sense of doubt with what you're doing. Am I doing it right? But with this global connection using the internet and services such as streaming on Spotify, YouTube, all sorts of different platforms, we can make our voices heard. And more people than ever are able to listen to it, watch it, look at it, absorb it, become it. So even though we may feel more isolated than ever before in this digital age, there's always the knowledge that somebody out there is enjoying what you do.
And yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I know I had a whole lot of fun recording it and editing it. And the last thing before I go today, I finally went out and got a new set of headphones, so hopefully the audio on these videos will be a little bit better. I've been using this pair that I picked up at Walmart for like $50 for probably the past 4 years now, and although they were really good for when I first picked them up, I find that now they really started to squeeze my head and make it really uncomfortable. That and the left side of these actually is a lot louder than the right side. So I finally broke down and got some actual studio monitors so I can edit the videos the way that I really enjoy them. But yeah, that's everything, guys. This is my last week for finals at college for this year, and I hopefully start work next week. So I don't know how I'm going to be for YouTube videos as I get adjusted into my summer schedule, but I will say that one of the next videos I want to do has something to do with this. Peace. I need a new microphone!
Came through dripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us, red run when I tell a bit peace. Love is love.